equality of opportunity and equality of access.
You know, it came from a kind of quite a natural place as well. The idea and the concept of doing this.
Not everyone is into football and cricket. Then you're never going to play sport. You're just going to think it's not for me because you didn't get the opportunity to play those sports. And actually, you might actually be really good at a sport, but you don't know it because you didn't have the opportunity to do it. It's about enjoyment. Sport is about enjoyment, development, and identifying talent.
You know, being fit and being healthy and being competitive, you know, it's from our traditions.
Yeah.
I think the sporting organisations have been really good to us.
And actually, we thought to ourselves, this is fantastic. And that's where the journey started.
Welcome to the Murabiyoon Show, raising awareness of Islamic schools. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series from the Murabiyoon Show. In this particular series, we'll be covering sporting organisations, and this is a really important topic because it's centred around a brand new product that Murabiyoon is bringing to the schooling community called Murabiyoon Sports. And so without further ado, I've got a lovely guest with me here today, Talal Hussain, who's the co-founder alongside myself of Murabiyoon Sports. How are you doing, Talal? You well?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, really good. How about yourself?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. You know the way I usually start off these podcasts, right? Yeah, I usually start them off just to warm the guests up with some quick fire questions. The questions I'm going to ask you are a little bit different to the questions I usually ask my audience, my previous guests anyway.
Okay.
So let's start off. What's the last live sporting event that you attended?
Last event that I actually went to, I suppose elite event would be a football match.
Football match?
I was at Anfield watching Liverpool play a game.
Oh man, I feel sorry for you. Were you forced to go?
Yeah, no, it was actually quite enjoyable experience. You know, it's quite a nice setup they've got there. Anfield, you've got like a prayer area. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little prayer area on the side, and underneath one of the stands, and the oldest masjid in the UK.
Yeah,
in Liverpool. So before we kind of went to the stadium, popped into the masjid. Mashallah, really nice. Abdullah Quilliam, mashallah.
Good.
And apparently he was he's friends with the Reverend. I think he was a set up Liverpool. Good friends with Abdullah Quilliam, who was a Muslim who kind of set up the masjid, and he's still going, alhamdulillah. So yeah, the last live sporting event was at Anfield.
Good. I'll make sure next time it's Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Pool or snooker?
You know, actually, playing, I prefer playing pool.
Yeah.
Because snooker is just a bit tougher to play, isn't it? In terms of just cue ball control, but actually watching.
Yeah, snooker.
I try to watch pool, but just doesn't. You can't just really get into it at all. But
it's a bit chaotic.
Yeah, pool. And you know, snooker is quite enjoyable to watch. Actually,
it's quite relaxing. Actually, it is quite relaxing.
But it just reminds me of exams, snooker world championships, the snooker world championships, exam time. Should be revising, but spending hours just watching snooker. That's just kind of the memory I have.
It sounds like it's a nice memory, at least, to be fair. What other sports other than pool do you struggle to watch? Whether it be live or even on TV?
You know, actually, what I used to really enjoy watching, Tour de France, cycling.
Oh, okay.
Even athletics, I used to quite enjoy. But since the doping scandals that have hit them, it just kind of really turned me off totally. I'm sure what I'm watching now. Is he elite athletes or is he kind of people who are on drugs or what? I mean, it's a big concern, isn't it? Yeah. So in terms of watching those sports where I think the integrity has been compromised, I just can't get into them at all.
Yeah. I think I would struggle full stop to watch the Tour de France. I mean, there were occasions where, when Bradley Wiggins was doing well and I had some colleagues at work that were into cycling and, I did kind of just, flick onto it and just watch it for a moment. But I mean, I couldn't watch it for hours on end.
I mean, Formula One as well, I think it's a bit overrated, especially if you're going to watch it live. I'm just trying to think, you'll be at one place and you just see the cars going past. I mean, what what is so exciting about that? You're probably into Formula One, aren't you?
I am into Formula One, and
but I just watching it live. I just can't imagine.
It's kind of like one of those ones on my bucket list. I think what it is that I think it's one of those ones that I want to do, and I agree with you. It'd probably be more for the experience of not just the race, but everything that comes with it. But I think at the end of it, I'd probably be like, you know what, can these guys come around any faster? Because I can see a car going past. We went to see the baseball recently in London.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was not even halfway and we left because it was just boring.
Really?
It was just slow commercials and it just wasn't, I think in the UK, we used to watching sports that are quite fast paced, quite quick.
And there's no kind of breaks in between. If you watch football, Premier League football, for example, it's just ongoing, that 90 minutes. Okay, you have your break at half time, but other than that, it's just engaging all the way through.
Yeah, definitely.
And American sports, the difference with them is the constant breaks and the timeouts. I mean, I actually did watch some NBA recently, and I thought the last, 3 minutes lasted for about 20 minutes. The amount of timeouts and the amount of the clock had to stop and the fouls and the commercial breaks. Even NFL, I really like NFL. But if I'm going to watch it, I'll just watch the highlights.
Okay. All right, let's get through a couple of these, the last few ones quickly. Favorite sport? Playing
sport. I mean, just grew up on football, to be honest. That was my kind of go-to.
Greatest sporting personality, in your opinion? Could be somebody around today. Could be somebody that's been around.
If I was going to just think about I would say, looking at it from perspective of a Muslim and a role model, it has to be Khabib at the moment. I mean, I can't really go past him in terms of just the impact he's had and the way he's conducted himself, his devotion, he's uncompromising in his, views and his Islam, and obviously, and then his record is amazing. So, the guy just stands head and shoulders above anyone else out there in terms of just representing a Muslim role model that you look at anything. I listened to some podcasts where non-Muslims have been talking about, you get Joe Rogan and he's got this podcast, and he was talking about Habib, and he was just saying that he's just a person of character. He was saying, we look for people of character that stand out and are devoted and disciplined, and what you look at as in a role model. And he was talking about Habib as well, and I thought, right now I would say he's the one that stands out.
I think I'd agree. I think it'd be difficult to top that with anybody who's kind of in the elite space today. What's your most memorable sporting moment growing up and even now?
Probably just, the enjoyment and just winning a trophy. When, it might just be in the Sunday League and we won the trophy. It's just enjoyable. I think with sport, especially team sports, it's the moments you have with your teammates. I was listening to actually one of the footballers talking about after retiring what they miss most, and they say we miss the changing room, we miss the banter. Yeah, that's really what it's all about. The winning, obviously, is great. So I would probably say just one of those kind of competitions we won on a Sunday League, maybe, and just having the fun and the enjoyment of it.
Great. All right, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for getting us all kind of warmed up, familiar with your, mashallah, sporting accolades in Sunday League. Let's now really get to the main topic, Murabiyoon Sports. Okay. In a nutshell, keep it as simple as possible to start off with, but what is Murabiyoon Sports?
So Murabiyoon Sports, in a nutshell, is about equality of opportunity and equality of access to sports for young Muslims. So we know that, mashallah, we got a young Muslim population in the UK, and a lot of them are really into sports, but often having access to a wide range of sports is limited. So Murabiyoon Sports is about building relationships with sporting organizations so that young people can have access to a wide range of sports, and which can then lead to competition and further development.
Okay. Where did the idea stem from?
It actually happened when it was the two of us. Actually, we were at a football event, which was organised by the English Schools Football Association, and some Muslim schools were taking part. It was early spring, cold. I think it was cold day in Northampton, and we're watching the competition. And actually, we thought to ourselves, "This is fantastic. Wouldn't it be great if we could replicate this with other sports? Replicate it with other sports, not just football." Young Muslims there were really enjoying the competition. It was this kind of environment which worked for them. We thought, this is brilliant. Could we not replicate this for other sports? And that's where the journey started. Do you recall that event?
I remember it because I felt a chill down my spine that day. You always reflect on what you pack in your bag, right? And I think that day, I should have packed a hat and the gloves and all of that. No, I mean, I can remember us kind of coming away from that and saying to ourselves, actually, opportunities at times for members of our community to come and participate in the competition, access good facilities. We were at a good facility. I think it was in Wellingborough.
Yeah.
And also
Market Harbour.
Market Harbour. And just to work with an organisation like the ESFA, and with all their infrastructure and organisation, and it just kind of opened up my eyes, certainly anyway, in the conversation that we had, that actually maybe this can be replicated. Maybe this can be done across a variety of different sports. And I think what also probably helped is that we're generally quite interested in sports ourselves, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We have the old discussion, debate, and a dig about our competing teams and sports we follow, and so it came from a kind of quite a natural place as well. The idea and the concept of doing this. I mean, going back then, I mean, and even now, I mean, what do you think we were hoping to achieve back then when we were just talking about the idea?
Yeah, I think it was about access and opportunity. It's back to those two words. Like you said, Market Harbour, excellent facilities, referees, the setup, and then the link with the English Schools Football Association and that sporting organisation and the kind of infrastructure they can bring. It was like, okay, we can develop this relationship further. That was kind of the early days of our relationship with the English Schools Football Association, and that's kind of really blossomed as well. So one aspect was kind of developing that, and then saying, hold on, maybe we could do this with other sporting organisations and engage with them and start to get our teachers upskilled, understand how to coach different sports, and then give the children an opportunity to play sports. I mean, my thing is, even though I was really into football and cricket as a youngster, not everyone is into football and cricket.
Of course.
If you don't get opportunities, then if you're put off by football and cricket, and you don't get opportunities to play other sports, then you're never going to play sport. You're just going to think it's not for me because you didn't get the opportunity to play those sports. And actually, you might actually be really good at a sport, but you don't know it because you didn't have the opportunity to do it. Yeah, it's about that. It's about getting those relationships with those sporting organisations and then giving young people the opportunity to play those sports.
So we're going to come on to a little bit more detail a little bit later on in terms of what Murabiyoon Sports specifically has done and some of the highlights and some of the organisations that we're working with, etc. I mean, if we were to kind of establish a success criteria for Murabiyoon Sports, what would you say 3 or 4 of those, winning tickets would be for us?
Okay, so when we sat down and we kind of broke down what we want to achieve, what we said was that number one is to create opportunity. And number two is for young Muslims to participate in sport, to actually enjoy sport. It's about enjoyment. Sport is about enjoyment first and foremost. You know, the enjoyment of playing, the enjoyment of competition, so participation. Number three, leading on from participation, is to develop, you know, a range of skills. For that, you need to have coaches who can guide you. So if someone starts playing a sport, then you need someone to kind of say, okay, actually, if you did it just like this, if you just like take the snooker example we were talking about before, if you hold the cue like this, if your stance is like this, you know, it'll be much smoother, the strike will be much smoother. Or if you put your hands like this, you'll be able to catch the ball better. And so the coaching element would have to come in. So from participation and coaching, then you get an improvement in skill development. Then from there is competition. You know, once you get people, young people who are capable or enjoy playing a sport, then competing with other young people is another great kind of thing to do. And especially if, you know, getting into that used to competition and the excitement and the thrill you get from that. And then I would say from there, it's a case of development and identifying talent. So sometimes, like I said before, you might have someone who's really naturally gifted in something. They just don't know it because they haven't done it. And once they've had the opportunity and you can identify, hold on, this person's got a bit of natural talent in this, then maybe creating pathways for them to go into, you know, further development. And ideally, we'd love to have some elite development into a sport and becoming a role model. So also, you know, we had that meeting with the ECB, and when I was talking to the sister there, Saba, and I was saying that actually it's amazing that we had Moeen Ali captaining the England cricket team in Pakistan, and that was really kind of an amazing moment to see practicing Muslim, you could say, you know, leading the England cricket team. And it'd be great to have other, you know, young Muslims in other sporting spheres representing the country and in elite performance. Okay. So yeah, those are kind of the things that we really want. Success for us is, we want everyone to participate, get into competition, and hopefully elite performance.
One thing I'll just add to that is we touched on this earlier on, but it is also about kind of offering a wide range of opportunities.
Yeah.
I think this is really important. I was having this conversation last night at home, actually, and we were just talking about how traditionally families from the subcontinent, we haven't always had access and families haven't always bought into less commercialized sports, let's just say. Maybe they've been supportive of some of the more common sports, but the idea of kind of having a mix and a variety, maybe because the face doesn't fit, okay? But it's not always been easy growing up and be able to access the idea of saying to your family, your parent, I want to go to Formula One.
Yeah.
Or can I go and participate in gymnastics? Or, you know, maybe even let's go to the local tennis court. You know, football is different. And even beyond that, it's a bit of a stretch, maybe even basketball if you're lucky. Swimming, you know, we know that's a prophetic sport. Okay, let's move on to another segment of the show. I want to talk a little bit about impact. What difference does it make when a young person can participate in sports in general versus when they can't?
In terms of benefits, first and foremost, physical benefits, that's obvious. I was reading somewhere actually, this yesterday or the day before, about the obesity levels in certain parts of the country. Young people, how they're physically really unfit, and that's detrimental to them, obviously. So the number one benefit for young people in terms of participation is the physical benefits. physical health, and we are getting to a generation of PlayStation and gadgets, and that's having a detrimental effect on their physical well-being. So physical health, number one; mental health, number two. Opportunity to be outdoors, to be in nature, even just outside, and participating in sports mentally refreshes individuals. A fresh air, the heart beating, adrenaline, all that will impact on mental health. And if you go further into kind of being part of a team or getting into a sport in a bit more kind of formal setting, then you start to develop different characteristics and qualities. Discipline. You have to be somewhere on time, especially if it's a team sport. You have expectations on behavior, and then how to the social aspects, how to deal with people. That's something you really pick up, especially when I played sports when I was younger, and with different teams, the makeup is different. So alhamdulillah, I was quite academic, but not necessarily all the people that you play sports with will be from your kind of peer group, friends that you would normally associate with. Maybe there were different types of people, and you get to know different people maybe you wouldn't have normally engaged with. So I remember playing Sunday League, and it was really interesting because they were kind of a wide range of backgrounds, and so you get to know people who you probably wouldn't normally have got an opportunity to meet. And so that's the social aspect. And then all these things you can take, a young person could take into their life, into their academic life, into their work life, into whatever they're doing. They'll definitely benefit them in the long term. So I would say it's really I say it's vital. It's absolutely vital for young people to be taking some aspect of their daily, 24 hours in the day. They should have some part of that devoted to sporting activity, or even just going for a walk or the nature, because it's going to benefit them massively.
Let's hone in a little bit more on the target audience. So why is it important for young Muslims to participate in sports? Obviously, our target market is Muslims in Muslim schools.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason behind that is because we've come to realize through our experience in terms of leading Muslim schools or being around leaders of Muslim schools or visiting Muslim schools, that sometimes the opportunities are quite limited, aren't they?
Yeah, that's why for young Muslims, it's about opportunity, and like I said at the beginning, access. Yeah, access is the main problem. The opportunity to play sports, especially in inner city areas, facilities, access to the facilities are really limited, and even in schools, Muslim schools, access to facilities and opportunities is limited. We want to give them those opportunities,
and I think also at the same time, I think we if we look at the prophetic tradition, okay, and we understand that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, from many narrations we can see that him and his companions were participating in sports.
Yeah, definitely.
Common sports like that. People are it's part of their day-to-day routine. Swimming.
Yeah.
More and more people are getting into archery.
Wrestling.
Yeah. You mentioned Khabib earlier on, wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all of that. And being fit and being healthy and being competitive. Yeah. It's from our traditions.
Yeah.
And I think so. For that reason, there should be a real focus and emphasis within the Muslim community to really revitalize that. And the way that we can do it is by complementing those mentioned sports with other opportunities that also exist in the society that we live in today. And I think what's important for me is that often Muslim schools, for many reasons, whether it be because of access, whether it be because of funding, or whether it be because of scope in terms of being able to look and think beyond the apparent, I think I think there's a need for somebody like us, like a Murabiyoon Sports, to come along and facilitate.
Oh, definitely.
Facilitate for them and present these opportunities.
You need the teachers to be comfortable to be able to coach those sports as well. So that's why one of our things that we're looking at developing is a teacher training. So the teachers are able to coach the different sports and be comfortable doing that, so that the children can really, really excel.
I think the other thing that's really important for me as well is that what we don't want to do is we don't want young Muslims who are attending private schools, Islamic schools, where there might be limited opportunities, to have any kind of limitations or any regrets, or any ill feeling that they weren't able to get a whole experience in their during their young lives.
Definitely.
And so, again, I think it's really important that we provide that. And inshallah, the idea behind it is to really kind of take that responsibility and really kind of try and service and make this available for as many young Muslims dotted around the country as possible, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right, let's now switch back to Murabiyoon Sports. I want to understand in a little bit more detail. I want the audience to try and understand specifically what has Murabiyoon Sports done as a service. So today, up until now, we're at the end of the summer holidays.
Yeah.
Where is Murabiyoon Sports? So Murabiyoon Sports officially launched in March 2023.
Yeah.
So it's coming up to what, 6 months?
Yeah.
So how does it work? Do I as a parent, do I as a child, do I as a school, call you, email you?
How does it work?
How does it work?
Okay, so Murabiyoon Sports, what we've done is we've built relationships with over 20 sporting organisations, RFU, goalball, England squash, etc., etc. These relationships have been built over the last 6 months, and what the sporting organisations are doing with us is offering opportunities to Islamic schools, Muslim schools, and the young people that attend them. So what schools can do is, what we decided was the best way for schools to access these opportunities is online. So we set up a website, and schools can register on the website and access all these different opportunities.
Great. And it's as simple as somebody logs onto the website, has the opportunity to view all the opportunities at hand, whether it be attending an event, whether it be receiving some coaching, whether it be accessing some resources, and away you go.
Yeah, straightforward. And once schools are registered, straight away, like you said, download resources, lesson plans, coaching, and even opportunities to attend sporting events. So recently we had an event at Lords, the cricket, and we had, I think, maybe was it 100 young people had the opportunity to go and go to Lords and
they watched the women's T20.
And they really enjoyed it. Feedback was
England,
amazing.
Australia.
And then you had we had the opportunity for a school to get some coaching in golf with the MGA, Muslim Golf Association, at the Open.
Yeah, I was there. That was a special moment actually, because I think I stand to be corrected, but I think maybe the first Muslim school to attend a prestigious golf event like the Open. I mean, you're talking about an international event that gets worldwide coverage, and it was amazing. It was a long day all the way up to Liverpool, but it was well worth it. And I think the school that participated, Manchester Muslim Prep School, they thoroughly enjoyed it. The kids were there receiving some coaching. They managed to sit at the grandstand on the 18th hole. Wow. They managed to meet some of the players. I think, can't remember one of the players' names that the kids managed to get signatures of. I missed that part. But it was fantastic. It's been really nice. And I think that kind of nicely led on to what I was going to say about highlights. I mean, it's been quite nice. We've taken some of the kids to the Lords. We've taken some of the kids to the Open. You coordinated some events at the end of last term where you had a school in Oldham participate in LTA tennis coaching. archery,
and
squash.
Archery and squash were in Birmingham. We had coaches coming down and delivering sessions for boys and girls in squash and archery. I mean, squash has been fantastic. And the amazing thing about once you have this relationship with different sporting organisations is that we think that squash needs to play in the squash court. We need to get the facilities. We need to go to a leisure centre. It's going to be a lot of hard work. But what England Squash have done is they've got these things called rebound walls.
Yeah.
So you just set them up. It's brilliant, really brilliant. So you can play squash in the playground. So when we set you up in these different schools, it was amazing. You could get a whole class playing squash, and you just needed about 3 rebound walls.
Great. I mean, on that point, I think the sporting organisations have been really good to us.
Fantastic.
I think the initially approaching them, we didn't quite know what we were going to receive back, but I think the response was quick. People were keen to work with us. I think they found a level of comfort in being able to work with a community that maybe they've struggled to access.
Definitely.
And I think they felt as though actually maybe they found a partner who can facilitate that for them. And I think it's really exciting, actually.
It is exciting.
I think we've got some good people within those organisations that are willing to...
And maybe your future podcast could be with some of these partners that we've got.
Definitely. That's the idea behind the future podcast. The idea is to bring in some of these partners to talk about some of their specific sports, talk about why they want to tap into the Muslim community, young Muslims, etc., and what they can do. So inshallah, that will be the next episodes to come.
One of the other things, actually, I just remembered that we did, which was really successful, was our, kind of with the different sporting organisations, was to just offer them a bit of insight into Muslims, the Islamic faith, and Muslim athletes, and how they approach different events in the year.
Yeah.
So the Ramadan
webinars
we did were really successful.
We did one on Ramadan. We did one on Hajj.
Yeah.
I was lucky to go and present at the first England Boxing EDI conference in Sheffield. That's been surprising for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we didn't go into it to offer that, but I think the way that the relationships have formed, people have maybe seen something within Murabiyoon Sports to think that maybe we are a suitable partner to be able to kind of pitch and present.
It's about training. It's about training them as well, and giving them a little bit more insight into what it means to be a Muslim and to participate in sport. What that looks like, and it's really that was really. I think that's been really successful.
What do you think some of the challenges ahead for us are? We've got we're really ambitious in terms of what we want to try and do, and it's not going to happen overnight. But I mean, what do you think the obvious challenges might be that we need to overcome?
I mean, for us guys, we just started off, and so capacity for us, I think the sporting organisations are ready to go with us, really, to do lots of different things and different events and coaching and competition and all this. From our side, I think probably we need to develop our team a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to kind of really get a few more people on board. I mean, if there are any kind of really budding sporting people who are really into sport, who are really interested, maybe great, can get in touch with you and be part of our team. You want to say that?
Yeah. No, and I think for me, another challenge alongside that will be our ability to be able to reach all of our customers, if you want to put it that way, our users. So, they're spread across the UK.
Yeah.
They're spread, they're not in one particular town or one particular city. There's, close to 180 Muslim schools, with nearly 50,000 young people participate in those schools. And obviously we're keen to be fair and accessible to everybody. So that's a challenge that we need to kind of work on. And capacity will help, but also we've got to be realistic as well in terms of the trajectory by which we can access everybody. So I think that's going to be an interesting challenge ahead.
And maybe also just, I don't think everyone knows about us yet, do they? All the schools will not know about us.
Awareness. Yeah, we need to do awareness. So hopefully this podcast will help as well, get people a little bit more familiar with who we are and what we do, etc., etc. So, yeah, I think some some challenges ahead which we recognise and we embrace, and we're looking forward to. I mean, as we come kind of to the end of the discussion, I mean, what are you looking forward to most, apart from the obvious, getting a ticket to watch Liverpool in maybe the Carabao Cup final? That'll be the only thing, maybe.
Yeah, actually, I'm quite excited by just once young people get into playing sports and the competition element. I'm quite excited by that. Maybe I don't know, England squash. We did the coaching and they started to participate in the sport, and then at the end of the year, doing a little competition and identifying talent. I think that's the one thing that really stands out for me. You might just find a budding squash player and think, wow, you know what? They had the opportunity to participate. They really enjoyed it. They developed a skill set. They've got some talent, and we are able to give them a pathway now towards, maybe even elite performance. Really, it'd be brilliant. That's what I really, look forward to.
Yeah. No, and I echo that. I think nothing can beat watching youngsters having fun, enjoying themselves, winning a trophy, and just the camaraderie and the atmosphere that comes with all of it. It's really exciting. And the only thing I'd add to that is the thing I'm really looking forward to is variety. I just think that there's so many opportunities out there, and I just think that it's difficult to access them. And I genuinely believe that the way we're approaching things and the way that the response we've had from the sporting organisations, I think we can be that conduit and that filter to make sports that have traditionally not been accessible for whatever reason can be made accessible. Like you said, whether it be resources, whether it be facilities, whether it be the attire that you have to wear, whatever it might be. I think there's a mature conversation that we can have with sporting organisations and schools to come to a common understanding to facilitate this variety that I'm talking about. And for me, that's going to be really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to it. But Talal, Jazakallah khair for your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, brilliant.
If you'd like to participate in the Murabiyoon show, why not get in contact? It's as simple as going to our website, murabiyoon.com, and filling out this simple form.